Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Ty Johnny back with another live video reaction, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, post notification bell, see more of me, and we all gonna eat as a family. As the great words of Ace Boogie goes, everybody eats B, man. If you're new to the channel, I react to music, sports, whatever you really want me to react to. Just put it in the comment section below. Right now, I've been on this Larry Bird tour, and I want to say I appreciate everybody that's been watching, liking, commenting, subscribing. Y'all all the goats. I appreciate y'all so much. But today, of course, you know what we got, man. Another Larry Bird video. 5 times Larry Bird was injured but refused to quit. Let's get right into the action.
You know, to his credit, he gets up, fights through it, goes out there and plays, but he is not a healthy person right now.
I've never met an athlete that would play with pain the way he does, and an athlete that's so highly self-motivated as Larry Bird.
I think 4 or 5 years you'll think back about what he did, or you'll just, you'll go, I think it's one of those things that as the years go by, it'll become bigger and bigger and bigger.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back in a video. This time, once again, we have to talk about Larry Legend, one of my favorite players of all time.
Ooh.
And I think even the most casual NBA fan knows that Larry Bird's career was a very tough player, and he overcame tremendous adversity as well as injuries. And I want to make a very quick video explaining how tough Larry Bird was and just some of the big-time injuries he overcame. So with that being said, let's get into the video and look at 5 times Larry Bird overcame injuries and absolutely dominated. So the first injury we're going to look at is from 1979, before Larry Bird was even in the NBA. And his injury occurred in a friendly softball game with Larry Bird's brother as well as friends. And here's Jack McMullen explain this very bizarre and peculiar injury.
Well, he shows up, and who's on the other team?
Explain the football game with Larry Bird's brother as well as friends. And his injury is from 1979, before Larry Bird was even in the NBA. And his injury occurred in a friendly softball game with Larry Bird's brother as well as friends. And here's Jack McMullen explain this very bizarre and peculiar injury.
Well, he shows up, and who's on the other team but his brother? So Larry's playing out in the outfield, and his brother hits this kind of spinning, loopy ball, almost like a Tim Wakefield knuckleball. It's just spinning all over the place. And Larry tries to go down and make a basket catch, and his finger goes all the way back, and he's like, man, wow, it really hurts. He looked down, and his finger was completely dislocated and mangled, and, it really was bothering him. He had to stop playing right away. And so now remember, he's been drafted by the Celtics during this point, but he has not signed a contract yet. So his finger is in a bad way. He has to have major surgery with clips put in and pins and everything else. And he never tells the Celtics this has happened. But, sooner or later they get word, and they summon him to Boston. And the trainer examines him and says, and the team doctor examines him, and they say to Red Auerbach, this guy's damaged goods. Now, Red's like, really? So he says, come on, Larry, get dressed. So Larry puts on his stuff. Red throws him the ball. He goes out. He starts shooting from all over the floor. He's hitting from everywhere. Throws him a few bounce passes, has him throws a few overhead passes, and he said, you look fine to me, kid. And Bird said, great. But Bird to this day will tell you, he's never had the same feel for the basketball.
That's crazy. So he basically broke his finger. And we don't know. Larry could have been better with that finger that wasn't broken. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. We already starting off to a crazy start.
It's a pretty bad finger injury that affected Bird for the rest of his life. And around 2010, Larry Bird gave an interview and said his finger to this day is shaped like a boomerang at a 45-degree angle pointing toward his thumb. And he's had 2 surgeries that have failed to straighten it out. But I think the most intriguing thing in that clip is that Larry Bird himself said he never had the same feel for the basketball after this injury. And Bird, for his career already, was one of the best shooters of all time. He was the first player ever to win the 50-40-90 club, and he routinely shot over 90% from the line. But with that being said, Bird actually became a better shooter than he was in the NBA if it wasn't for that devastating finger injury. Now, next up on the Bird injury list, we go to his back, one of the worst injuries a player could ever have. And this injury for Bird occurred in 1985 in the middle of his prime. And his doctor, as well as a few commentators, talking about how tough Bird was and how difficult it was for him to even play a basketball game.
Larry had two jobs his last 7 years of playing. It was playing basketball, and then it was him being committed to taking care of his back.
He had first heard it in 1985, building the driveway at his mom's house back in French Lick.
Larry decides to do it himself. This is Larry Bird, the superstar, out there breaking his back, literally shoveling gravel. And that was the beginning of a process.
I would see him on TV laying down, and then they told me that he had to lay down on planes, different things like that. I was like,
modern look.
I ain't gonna lie, that's crazy. I thought he broke his back, you know, in the game or something, not shoveling gravel. That is insane. He's a humanitarian person too.
wow.
As Magic soared through the prime of his career, Bird was breaking down. His deteriorating back and punishing style of play proving an excruciating mix.
From 88 to 92, it was painful to watch. It was painful to cover. Larry is quite ornery when he's not feeling well, which means he was ornery for those next 4 years.
He could manage the pain in a way that very few people can do.
If you get paid to go to work, you got to go to work.
It was a situation that he was seeing almost daily. He had lost the structural stability in his spine, so it would slip into abnormal positions to try and lock itself to get an artificial stability. That's like getting your finger stuck in a door and somebody's still pushing on the door. So what we had to do was unlock his spine, realign it, do techniques that would hold that for 4 hours, 6 hours, that type of thing, and then he'd go play basketball.
So obviously that back injury was pretty devastating for Bird, and it kind of marked the end of his prime.
Yeah, he got two injuries right there that like handicapped him, and he was still out there going retarded. Like he was going crazy. Like he was out there going crazy.
But even with that being said, Bird in his last 7 seasons still put up tremendous stats, averaging 25.1 points per game, 9.3 boards, 7.0 assists.
Basically 40, 50, 90, right below it, basically, with the broken back. That's crazy.
On near 50, 40, 90s.
Look, 9.3 rebounds with a bad back, and he playing with some of the greatest centers of all time.
Splits. Those stats right there from offensive perspective are still some of the best stats of all time. And once again show Bird could handle pain like few athletes ever. And one of the most remarkable things I've ever heard comes from Larry Bird's former teammate, that being Robert Parrish. According to Parrish, Larry Bird never took painkillers, pills, or any shots in his entire career. Bird simply toughed it out and showed mental toughness as well as physical toughness and played basketball at the highest level for 7 more years. Now also one thing Larry Bird was known for in his career was being mentally tough. And here's a quick story from Kevin McHale talking about Larry Bird's mental toughness, mentally tough. And here's a quick...
I ain't gonna lie, this still was crazy. I didn't even see him steal it. Look.
Story from Kevin McHale talking about Larry Bird's mental toughness after being stuck down in an airport for 10 straight hours.
Back then when we flew commercial, we didn't fly private. We played in a Tuesday night game in Cleveland. And of course we got up for the first flight out. We had a game on Wednesday night in New Jersey. Snowstorm hits Cleveland. We're at the airport at 7 in the morning. Flight's canceled at 7. It's canceled at 8. It's canceled at 9. It's canceled at 10. Canceled at 11, 12. We finally leave about 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon. We fly up to New Jersey. Now the storm has kind of moved into Jersey. And the bus driver says, well, I can't get to the hotel, into the arena. I can only go to one place. Well, we had a game that night. We go to the arena. So we get to the arena, and I mean, we're dragging. And we're sitting around the locker room, and, and everybody's kind of, we're tired, and, and all of a sudden, the coach gives a little bit of a speech of, come on, man, guys, we're playing basketball. Let's get ready to go. And Larry stands up, and Larry says, a couple other few choice words, and he says, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to take it out on their rear ends. So I was like, oh, all right, so let's go. So we go on the floor. Albert King sitting there. Larry walks up to Albert King and goes, don't take this butt whooping personally. I've been eating hot dogs all day. And then Albert King looks at him like, you've been eating hot dogs all day? What's that got to do with me? And we went out and just hammered him. I mean, we terrorized him. And that was Larry. There was no excuses. I mean, he just played. And I tell you, that was just his competitive nature. But a day when you fly all day and eat hot dogs in the airport, best thing was Albert's look on his face like, what hot dogs got to do with me?
And that story from Kevin McHale, for the most part, is pretty comical, but I think it still shows Larry Bird had extreme mental toughness. And when it came to playing basketball, he would give it his best every single night. And I actually went back to Larry Bird's game charts, and I found this game from 1986 on April 13th. In this game, ball.
Wow, that's crazy. They blew them out. So 1986 is when he first hurt his back, and basically he still had a promising career at the end of it for the most part, like a good scoring career, assists. He had good stats for somebody that didn't have a back.
Boston beat New Jersey by 28 points. Larry Bird had 26, 4, and 3 on 64% shooting, and he didn't miss a single three-pointer or a single free throw. And what makes it even more impressive to me is this game with New Jersey was the last game of the season. Bird could have easily packed it in and waited for the playoffs, but still, he wanted to play this game for his teammates as well as his coaches. And that year in 86, Larry Bird didn't miss a single game, playing all 82. And if you compare that mindset from Bird to the modern day players, it's simply night and day. I pretty much guarantee you, any modern day superstar will 100% sit out that game and rest for the playoffs, but not Larry Bird. And when talking about Larry Bird in his prime, 1980 to 86, really before his big time injuries, he played 561 out of 574 games. He played all 82 games 3 times and over 36 minutes per game every single year. In 2 years, he actually led the NBA in minutes per game. So back in the day, Larry Bird, if he could walk, he was 100% suiting up and playing basketball. But the one time in Bird's career where
One thing I can respect is if you suit up, because the new generation of people, bro, imagine a kid just came all the way to see LeBron play, Kevin Durant, or any of these players, Kawhi Leonard, and they talking about, I don't feel like playing today because my left thumb hurts. Like, bro, that type of stuff, it's unacceptable.
simply could not play and playing basketball. But the one time in Bird's career where he simply could not play was in 1989. This year, Larry Bird had severe bone spurs, he had what many people thought was a broken foot, and he had double Achilles surgery. And back in the day, an Achilles injury could possibly be the end of your career. But once again, not for Larry Bird, as the following year, he had a very great and underrated season, averaging 24.
So you telling me he tore both Achilles and got surgery, and you came back and you averaged 24.3 and 9.5? And you played 75 games that year? I don't want to hear no more excuses from these new players, bro. Fresh off double ACL, double Achilles. Come on, man.
4.3 points per game, 9.5 boards, 7.5 assists, while playing 75 games at 39.3 minutes per game, while leading the NBA in free throw percentage. So even after all his injuries, Larry Bird once again came back to all-star form, and he overcame double Achilles surgery.
With a private stunt.
Larry. But yeah, that's crazy. Double Achilles? I don't even think there's been another person with that injury in the NBA.
Now, the last Bird injury we have is in 1991, and this injury is also the last great Larry Bird moment in the 91 playoffs versus the Indiana Pacers. And to kind of set the stage, in this series, Boston, they were heavily favored, but in games 1 through 4, Bird was not playing up to par, only averaging 18 points per game, 9 assists, 8 boards, on 37% shooting, and 11.
You gotta listen. 18, 9, and 8. And that's not up to par. It's still not good enough. That means he's a legend, man. Did y'all hear? Listen one more time, just in case y'all missed.
Only averaging 18 points per game, 9 assists, 8 boards, on.
And he's not playing up to par. Yeah, some people don't. Come on, man.
37% shooting and 11% from 3. And back in the day in the first round, it was a best-of-5 series. So Game 5 was a winner-take-all game. And near halftime of this game, Larry Bird would go down with a severe head injury, possibly a broken cheekbone, as well as a mild concussion.
Right here, the slice, knocks it free, Bird on the floor, and but he stays down for a long time. What effort by Larry Bird. And Larry Bird is headed directly to the locker room for treatment.
But in typical Larry Bird fashion, he would tough it out and come back in the middle of the third quarter.
And here comes Larry Bird. But certainly this, out of the pages of Willis Reed in Game 5 of the championship series involving the Knicks and the Lakers in 69-70.
this Game 5 in the Boston Garden, from that moment on, Larry Bird would dominate the remaining 18 minutes of that game, having 17 points, 7 boards and 5 assists, on 60% shooting, leading Boston to a 3-point win. And that Game 5 versus Indy is the last great Larry Bird moment as he overcame injury and dominated in that second half. So with that being said, that is the end of the video. Let me know your guys' thoughts. How tough do you think Larry Bird was? Is he the greatest trash talker of all time? And where do you rank him on your all-time list? Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, I'll see you guys next time.
Shout out Uncut Hoops for the great video. 5 times Larry was hurt, and you want to know where I got him on my list? You know, I got him top 5 right now. I don't know my specific list anyway, but I know he's in my top 5. Ooh-wee. He's definitely in my top 5. He's definitely like one of them people that you gotta put on the Mount, almost on the Mount, basically on the Mount Rushmore, because he was out there hooping with all these injuries that I didn't even know he had. I heard he was even out there hooping with a back brace on for my comments, basically. So, yeah, he's in my top 5 for sure. I just got to do my research on all the other players, you know? But, yeah, man. Y'all let me know how y'all felt. What was his worst injury and your favorite Larry Bird moment when he came back from injury. Also, let me know about some other players that got hurt and came back and had a great career still. Let me know. Let me know something. I don't be knowing a lot of stuff about the older players and stuff like that. But, yeah. It's the end of the video. If you got any other videos you want me to watch, put it in the comment section down below, and I got you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, post notification bell to see more of me. And we all gonna eat. I love y'all. I'm gonna see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.